I consider myself an easily distracted homeschool mom, so I'd love to share with you my best tip that I've learned. Squirrel! So keep watching and squirrel! Hi, I'm Ashley Weaver. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I love to share tips on how to do homeschooling on a budget. Normally those are my kind of videos, but today I wanted to try something a little different, so welcome. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and I think I'm going to include this in a series. I'm going to share a few of my best tips for the easily distracted homeschool mom. This is the first one in the series. Be sure to check out the others as they come out. I try to post weekly, so I hope you'll tune in the next few weeks as I start sharing my best tips for you. So I'm a homeschool mom of 3, and I love teaching my kids, but I have had some struggles and trials over the years, and I'd love to talk with you about those things that I've learned. I want to start with a disclaimer right now, though. I wanted to title this video my best tip for the ADHD mom, homeschool mom, or my best tip for the ADD homeschool mom, but I realized that that's not technically correct because I myself have never been clinically diagnosed as ADHD, but I've read all the checklists and I technically have all the symptoms, but I just consider myself easily distracted. And my parents, as a child, it was even worse than it is today, but my parents never took me to a doctor for it. They just taught me how to cope with this and to learn how to focus. And I was never medicated or anything, but I feel like this tip can be really good for any homeschool mom who finds himself easily distracted, has a trouble with focusing, scatterbrained, you like to jump from idea to idea, or you have a mind that goes really fast. And if you can relate to that, I'm excited to talk to you. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, but just wanted to start off with that. So a little bit about my story. If you follow personality types, then I am an ENFP, and that is usually the ones who are super bubbly, super energetic. We're idealistic. For sure, we have lots of ideas, like the ideas never stop coming. There's always ideas. And we can easily get distracted by the newest and shiniest thing. Thank goodness I married my husband, who is not like me, who might be more the opposite. He's an INTJ, in case you're wondering, but he definitely helps me keep focused, and he's more practical. He can stick to one thing and stick to it, and he's helped me grow a whole lot in this area. But when it came to homeschooling, I knew when I was younger that I really wanted to homeschool. I wanted to be a teacher for the longest time, and I tried teaching in the public school and a charter school and a Christian school, but I just kept struggling with my classroom management. I had tons of passion, lots and lots of passion for what I was teaching, but I had really huge struggles with classroom management, and that's a whole other story in and of itself. But I also knew that I did want to homeschool my children, and I would say, like, my organization skills, I love being organized, but I have trouble sticking with things and keeping it super organized. I'll just say that. I feel like I can be schizophrenic sometimes because on one hand, I can organize really well. I can plan things. I'm a good planner. On the other hand, I'm not as good with follow through, and my house can be a mess a lot of times and cluttered, but it is what it is. That's kind of homeschool mom I am. Okay, so that being said, I'm not going to share how the best way to organize your bookshelves are. I'm not going to share the best ways to organize your school stuff because that's not my thing, but I will share with you this thing. Are you ready? This is one of my best tips for you as an easily distracted homeschool mom. Here it is. Tip number 1. Finish what you start. There it is. That's it. This could include homemaking, chores, planning for your week for school, and you can apply it to homeschool or even projects that you start. Anything, you got to finish what you start. And I know that's really hard to hear because we love starting things, right? You love to start things, but finishing things, not so much, because you get bored or you find something else that's shinier or cooler or things like that. But let me tell you, it's good discipline to finish something that you've started. That's all I have to say. That's it. End of the video. Bye guys. See you next time. Just kidding. I will elaborate on that. But what's really helped me is the discipline of, okay, I'm going to plan one thing and I'm going to do this one thing for a certain amount of time. So For example, planning for school. Right now, I'm filming this in the summertime, and a lot of us are planning or have started planning for this current school year. We just started today, actually. It was our first day for this summer term. But set aside a chunk of time to work on one thing and finish it. Don't jump to the next and to the next and to the next, because if you keep jumping around, nothing's going to get finished, and you're going to touch on all these other things. So when you sit to plan your weekly schedule, only work on that weekly schedule. Sit down, give yourself a treat when you're done with it if you have to, and work on filling out that weekly schedule till you have it done. And then next you want to know what your book list is for your read alouds. Work on that next and then finish it. Don't do a little bit and then come back to it. You want to focus on it until it's finished. This also applies to cleaning and organizing your schoolroom or your school area, which I know you probably like to do every few months because it just gets so messy. So when you're doing that, focus on one section until it's finished. First do your desk, then do the drawers, then do the bookshelf, things like that. Don't jump around all over the room over and over. Just stick on one section and stick to it and finish it after you start it. The other thing that I feel like this applies to is when you pick curriculum for your kids. And not this year, but the year before, we did really well. I stuck with the reading program I had. We stuck with the math program I had, and language arts, spelling. It went fairly well the year before. This last year, I got about halfway through the year, I was getting really discouraged with some of our homeschool choices. And I was out looking on YouTube for reviews, and I was reading reviews constantly, and I was like, oh, that one looks really good. Oh, what about that one? Oh, that one's got really good books, or this one's got really pretty pictures. I was looking all over the place, and I got distracted. And I bought almost all new curriculum. Mainly for my oldest. My middle child, he was doing fairly well, but my oldest, I was like, we were running into snags, and I thought it was the curriculum and I needed to change it. So I picked a new math and I picked a new language arts curriculum. Thankfully, our core curriculum, our history, science, and stuff like that, I stuck with the whole year because we were doing a co-op, so I had the accountability. It was good. We did finish that one, and that was great. But I made that big mistake, and I looked at this curriculum and I'm like, we can get through this in 6 months, 4 months. Why not? It's January. Let's just push through. We're going to do school in the summer anyway. And I looked at it, how much would it do? And I'm like, all right, if we do 2 lessons a day, we're going to get ahead and we're going to finish this. And it didn't happen. We ended up only getting halfway through the curriculum. And I got to the end of the year, and all my friends were finishing their students' books, and we're like, yay, we're done with 2nd grade. And I looked at the books that we had, and some of my friends were like,
don't worry about it. Public schools doesn't even finish their books either. You'll be fine.
And I was like,
guys, I'm only halfway through the book.
If I had been maybe 3/4 of the way through, yeah, we could have just stopped and then gone on to the next level. But halfway through, I didn't even get barely halfway through our book. So anyway, I learned a big lesson from doing that, and learned that I really needed to teach my daughter too to finish what she started, not jump ship halfway through when you get scared and feel like it gets too hard. So I learned a big lesson with that, and I plan on sticking through with what we've chosen now and finishing these books, and then, doing the same as I continue. Unless it's, there are exceptions. There are times something's really, really not working, but I still learned a big lesson with that. So homeschool mamas, I really encourage you to practice finishing what you start. If it's something as small as a book that you're reading, or something as big as doing homeschool, finish what you've started, and realize it takes discipline sometimes to push through the hard things, even when you're not passionate about it, or when it doesn't feel like it's any fun anymore, or you get bored or whatnot. So stick with it. I promise you it will pay off. Lastly, I want to share with you some of my favorite resources, right? We always have great resources here at Joyful Noise Living. So these are the best books and websites that I've read that have helped me with learning to focus and pay attention to finishing what I've started. So the first thing is How to Manage Your Home by Dana K. White. And I got this one on Kindle, and I loved this book. This is about managing your home and doing homemaking, basically. It's not necessarily homeschool, but We are at home when we're homeschooling. We need to learn how to run our home just as much as we need to do to teach our kids. I highly, highly recommend this book. Go out and buy it right now. She thinks like I do and keeps hold of things like I do. And as I'm reading through this book, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that feeling. Oh my gosh, I do that too. And she just really, really encouraged me and transformed my home management. And I'm not perfect, but I've learned from her to some of these things you just have to finish what you start and not get distracted by all the things that have to be done in the house. So that would be the first thing I recommend. Another book I recommend that's really good about building good habits is Hello Mornings by Kat Leigh. She's also a similar personality in ENFP, and she can understand what it's like to get easily distracted by all your great ideas and stuff. So she has that's a great book about building good habits. It's mostly about a morning routine, but again, it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Oh, I read this one a long time ago. Say Goodbye to Survival Mode by Crystal Payne. That was a great one as well. She was good about learning to prioritize and finding what is fit for you in this season, and building a morning and evening routine as well. So Saying Goodbye to Survival Mode by Crystal Payne is a really good one as well. One of my favorites by Leigh Ann Dutton is Planning 101, or Live for Him. A Grace-Filled Look at Planning is an ebook by Leigh Ann Dutton as well, and got a shout out to Leigh Ann. Woo woo! I've been working with her for about 4 years now. She's a great blogger over at intentionalbygrace.com. So you can find her resources there. She is incredible about being intentional with your time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, aka focusing. So the Planning 101 was really good about how to plan generally, and weekly plan, monthly plan, daily plan. And the Live for Him is really good about, again, similar to Crystal Payne, about finding your priorities and how your life mission fits with what you're doing with your life. So I highly recommend those two things that will encourage you with starting what you finish as well, and being a good homeschool mom. Last but not least, I'm also going to shout out to Mystie Winkler over at simplyconvivial.com. And oh my goodness, this woman, she's great with organization skills. And oh my goodness, this woman has really helped me with homeschooling, because she specifically talks about organization for homeschooling things, for your days, your lessons, your curriculum, all these things. I can list off so many things that I've read by her. She has a great e-course as well, just like Leigh Ann does. So check out her as well. She's been a huge help to me. She's also really big on personality types, and I love that about her. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video was a big help to you. Please check out my next videos that are coming out soon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you get a notification when those videos post. And I'm so excited to share with you the easily distracted homeschool mom, all the great tips that I've learned so that you can be the best homeschool mom that works for you, and not like all these other ladies over here who are really good at organizing. And they don't follow all their brilliant ideas they get every day. Just kidding. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope to see you next time. I hope you go live your joyful noise. Bye. But, lost my thought. See, it happens. And this video is for you, so keep watching and squirrel! I don't know how to do this.